To shield a weak economy from inflationary pressures and bolster economic growth, the Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee unanimously decided to turn hawkish and withdraw liquidity in a calibrated manner. Given the boiling crude oil prices and supply-driven bottlenecks born out of the Russia-Ukraine war, the RBI raised inflation projection by 100 basis points to 6.7% for the year, but retained growth outlook at 7.2% for FY23. Though the governor hinted at a faster economic recovery after India's services PMI touched an 11-year high in May on strong demand, an elevated inflation level could pinch consumers' purchasing power. While the FMCG sector will remain under pressure due to deepening inflation levels, analysts expect the interest rate-sensitive stocks too to remain subdued in an inflationary and a rising interest rate regime. As investors digest 90 basis points within 2 months, Kunal Walia of Waterfield Advisors anticipates volatility to persist across markets as banks sit on a rate hiking spree.
The home loan segment, which is one of the critical segments of the country, will see the rates move up pretty swiftly. Already it has gone up based on the previous rate hike, and another 50 basis point is just going to increase the EMI payments of the existing borrowers, and the new borrowers are going to get rates at a much higher rate. So that is one segment we need to be sensitive about. So it is positive for various banks and NBFCs given that they will be able to raise the rates. But one needs to be very cognizant of the fact that where it is positive on one hand, it becomes very difficult for borrowers to digest almost 90 basis point of rate uptick, which RBI has already started, or in fact given in last 2 months or last 3 months. So that's the starting point. The worrisome part about the policy is that the inflation estimate for the RBI has gone up by almost 100 basis point from 5.7 to 6.7. So at this point in time, they continue to maintain the GDP estimate at 7.2%. I think given that inflation eats into purchasing power and you add some kind of a higher borrowing cost, actually there would be some kind of a slowdown which will come through in the economy towards second half of this year, and maybe RBI may revise the GDP estimates globally as well. Because most of the central bankers except China and Russia, everybody is on a rate hiking spree. We saw this with Reserve Bank of Australia as well yesterday, where they surprised the market with a 50 basis point rate hike. US is pretty much going to follow suit with a 50 basis point rate hike. And given that most central banks are following a front loading of policy rate hikes.
However, the promise of a better than expected normal monsoon forecast by weather agencies IMD and SkyMet can bring global food prices under control. The RBI too hopes that the normal monsoon prediction will help sustain rural demand and overall crop output, thereby giving them an elbow room to go slow on rate hikes. As the southwest monsoon contributes nearly 70% of the country's annual rainfall, it remains critical for the agriculture sector. Analysts believe that a healthy summer crop production would boost farm income and increase demand for farm-related equipment.
The expectations that we're going to have a normal monsoon that would definitely yield positive for the rural economy demand, and sectors usually get benefited are like FMCG, and then we have tractors from the auto segment which gains traction. Apart from that, fertilizer also witnesses decent demand. But considering the scenario that we are in, because the FMCG companies are witnessing pressure due to raw material, rising the raw material and other things, that might not lead to a broader recovery in the FMCG pack. So one needs to be selective. But other than that, tractor and fertilizer is definitely one can look at.
As regards today, investors will watch out ECB's policy stance and US unemployment data.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
तुम इतना डर गए?
अब क्या किया?
शेयर्स में ट्रेडिंग।
तुम्हें 5 पैसा नहीं पता? ओए, अब तो सबको पता है। 5 पैसा पर मिलते हैं रिसर्च टूल्स, पोर्टफोलियो एनालिटिक्स और इन्वेस्टमेंट आइडियाज भी। डाउनलोड 5 पैसा नाउ।
अब तो सबको पता है, investing made easy and rewarding with 5 paisa. Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.